Hello people of the internet, welcome back to my YouTube channel here today. Today we're going to be going over just kind of standard multiplayer things from the Black Ops series. I kind of ran out of video ideas, so I'm just kind of doing this. So, today we're going to be going through each of the Black Ops games throughout the entire series and stuff like that. I'm going to have gameplay up above from all the games in order: Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, and then Cold War at the very end. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about things that were kind of in each of those multiplayers. So first we're going to be starting off with Black Ops 1. Now in Black Ops 1, when you were playing the game and you were to rank up or do anything or like finish the match or anything like that, you would get these COD points. COD points could be used to go into wager matches. And wager matches is one of the main things that made Black Ops Black Ops. And what it was party game mode, so like gun game, sticks and stones, one in the chamber. I've made two videos, one on gun game and one on sticks and stones and one in the chamber in general. So if you guys haven't seen those, you guys can go ahead, go back to the channel, and you guys should be able to find those pretty quickly. They're definitely up there and out there. So if you want to see stuff on those specific game modes, then go ahead and check out those videos. Other than that, we're going to be looking at more of the multiplayer in a whole. But Black Ops 1 was the first Call of Duty to introduce party modes like gun game and stuff like that. Now the way that they did it was they made it so that way you would wager points to get into those matches. And there was different tiers. So there was Ante-Up, Weekend Gambler, and then High Roller. And what those did was those gave you different, or well, not gave you different amount of points, but they had different amount of point levels to where you would buy into a match. And then if you finished in the top 3, you would end up getting points back. And if you finished below that, you would end up losing all the points. But they had those all limited to 6-player matches, so there wasn't really much fun there. Other than that, the COD points could also be used to buy weapons and buy attachments and equipment and lethals and tacticals, really anything in the game. Now the way that worked was you leveled up until you were able to purchase a certain item, say a gun or an attachment or what have you, and then you would take a certain amount of COD points that it took to buy those weapons, and then you would be able to then buy them. We've seen this redone in the other Black Ops games, specifically Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, with a unlock token system. But in Black Ops 1, they only had these COD points, as they called them back then. Not the same as the new COD points, but you get the gist of it. Other than that, the creator class was just pretty much choose one of each thing, and then you're pretty much set. So there wasn't really too much to that. You had your primary, your secondary, your lethal, your tactical, and equipment, your perks 1, 2, and 3. After you chose all those, you were good to go. And even attachments were pretty simple to where you only chose one attachment for each weapon. You didn't have to worry about choosing, oh, I need like these 5 different attachments and they all balance out to make like the perfect gun for... Nah, it was pretty simple, straightforward. You pick one attachment and you stick with it. That's all you had. But, the equipment in that game pretty much consisted of pretty much camera spikes, which is now the field microphone in Black Ops Cold War. Just kind of little stuff like that. Not stuff that was like majorly huge or really going to change the game. Mostly just different types of equipment to help you out in a match, but that wouldn't really affect it too much. So other than that, I'll let you guys watch the rest of this Black Ops 1 gameplay, and then after that is done, I will see you once you get to the Black Ops 2 section.
Cobra, ready for deployment. Cobra on the way. Friendly care package on the way. Our spy planes in the air. Our spy planes in the air. Our spy planes in the air. Friendly spy plane inbound. Spy plane standing by. Friendly spy plane inbound. Enemy spy plane incoming.
Alrighty, here we are in the Black Ops 2 section. So, in Black Ops 2, they got rid of the wager games. It's something that I talked about in the other two videos that I mentioned earlier, where, Black Ops 2 didn't really want to have this COD point system, so what they did was they got unlock tokens. So, what you did was as you leveled up, I think it was each level, you got one unlock token. That unlock token could then be used to unlock the weapons that you unlocked after you ranked up enough to be able to unlock them. So it was still to where you had to rank up to be able to unlock a weapon. Then you had all these points that you would choose what to unlock, or like really what you wanted. And if you prestiged or anything like that, then you would actually gain permanent unlock tokens, which you would be able then to permanently unlock something and then thus be able to unlock everything in the game eventually after just a few prestiges. Because I don't think you were able to unlock everything if you just leveled up to max level. I think you did have to prestige. Now, Black Ops 2 is one of the most beloved multiplayer games of all time, and that's why I was actually able to find a match with living online players in the year 2020. So I would like to apologize for this now. In Black Ops 1 and in Black Ops 3, I was not able to find any actual matches with players, so both of those were essentially held in private matches. So in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 4, and then even Cold War, you're going to see me playing against actual live players, and that's why these gameplays might be a little bit longer than the private match ones. So anyways, now that apology is out of the way, why don't we move on to something in Creative Class that Black Ops 2 actually added. One thing that Black Ops 2 actually added was the pick 10 system, and the way that worked was you were only able to pick up to 10 items for your class. This included the weapons themselves, the attachments for the weapons, all perks, and then they added a new thing called wildcards, which would allow you to essentially unlock like extra attachment slots for your weapons, or give you extra grenades or extra tactical stuff like that. Pretty simple stuff, and all of those were taken into account in the pick 10 system. So you kind of had to pick and choose, make your weapon balanced within a certain parameter of limited items, and you had to do that so that way you would, be able to play with the class in the first place. If you maxed out a class with more than 10 attachments, then once you got into a game, it would say, sorry, but this has more than 10 attachments, and you wouldn't be able to play with it. So that's kind of how that went. Other than that, Black Ops 2 didn't really add too much, but they did really refine a lot of the systems from Black Ops 1, and it ended up being pretty much the most beloved Call of Duty multiplayer of all time. If you really ask anyone what their favorite multiplayer was, I'm sure you'll hear a lot of, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, but Black Ops 2 will easily be the biggest outcry of people saying it's the best multiplayer. And I think it even proves to be that today, because when I went to go search for a team deathmatch here on Black Ops 2, it only took me but like a minute and a half, 2 minutes to find this match. Whereas the only other one that I had to go back and play, which was Black Ops 4, that I found a match on, it took me 15 minutes of sitting in a lobby for it to fill up with enough players to actually even start. So, and Black Ops 4 is only a year old now. Or, well, I guess 2 years old now. But, it's kind of sad to see that the longevity of these newer Call of Duties really aren't lasting as long as the older ones were. And, yeah. So with that, we're going to move on to a game that I couldn't find a match in. And that is going to be Black Ops 3. So what I'll do again is I'll let you guys watch the rest of this match here in Black Ops 2. And then in a few minutes, once it switches to the Black Ops 3 video, we'll go ahead and start talking about Black Ops 3 then.
Fuck you, bitches.
Good work. Go on explosive, get MSD!
Alrighty, welcome to Black Ops 3, the third installment of the Black Ops series, believe it or not, hence the number. So Black Ops 3 kind of really shifted the balance, whereas Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 kind of felt like really fun open games where it was just like, oh, hop into a game, have fun, and, you know, enjoy yourself. Black Ops 3 kind of started to shift more into a, we're going for more ranked or competitive play type of Call of Duty. So Black Ops 3 most notably was the first Black Ops game to have the, quote, advanced movement, where we had a jetpack that would allow us to fly up into the air, fly left and right, you know, stuff like that, and even like a boosted slide. It was the first Black Ops game to have a slide in it, instead of the dolphin dive that had become kind of iconic for the first two Black Ops games. Another thing that Black Ops 3 brought along was a lot more objective-based game modes. It was the first Call of Duty game to have proper hardpoint, and it was also brought along the advancement of a game mode called Safeguard, which was one where each team took turns and they had one try each to try to escort a robot all the way to the other side of the map, pretty much, to like an escort site. And then after you would reach it, your team would get the point, the other team would try. If they failed, or if you failed and they made it, then that would be the deciding factor for the teams. And if both teams made it, or both teams failed, there would be an overtime where the team had to try to push the robot in like a sudden death type thing, where it was either you make it or you don't, win or lose. And I think that really set up the mentality for how Call of Duties have been made ever since then. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but if you go over to Modern Warfare and try to hop into a multiplayer match, it seems like a lot of people are really sweating, like really trying super hard to make sure that like they win. They always win, they're always doing good, and a lot of people care a lot more about their KD nowadays, and I feel like that kind of started happening around this Black Ops 3 era type Call of Duty. Now, I don't want to say that this is a completely bad thing. I just wish that, you know, I could hop into a match and not have to try all the time. You know, I wish that there were times where I could just hop into a match and have fun. But newer Call of Duty titles don't seem to have that in mind anymore. Now, one of the weirdest changes that Black Ops 3 actually implemented was they started doing limited time game modes, specifically for the party game mode. So, if you were to log on to Black Ops 3 right now, you would not see Gun Game on there. And that's because they had limited time party game modes like Gun Game, Sticks and Stones, and what's the other one? Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter's the other one. They did not have one in the chamber at all during the lifespan of the game, which actually made a lot of people upset, but all these party game modes were only there for a limited amount of time, and then they left, and yeah, so the only way you can really play them is if you hop into a private match, and even then you'll only be able to play with your friends and not just people on the internet. Although all around this multiplayer was still a lot of fun, and I would dare to say that it had the best beta out of all the Call of Duties that have had a beta, which was another thing. This was the first Call of Duty beta was in Black Ops 3. So other than that, you know, they kept the Pick 10 system from Black Ops 2. They also kept the unlock tokens and how you earned them like they did in Black Ops 2. And they added specialists, so you had characters that you would choose. So like in the main menu of the game, you would choose a player that you liked, and once you hopped into a match, that character would have a special ability, and they were called like specialist abilities, you know. So you had like a flamethrower, you had the gravity spikes, you had the annihilator, which was an overpowered one-shot pistol. You had one girl who had a bow that would be able to shoot and then kill people instantly. Stuff like that, just kind of like one-off weapons that you would earn through getting kills and points throughout the match, and then you would be able to use them to get a free kill, pretty much. Nothing too extreme there. They kept it pretty tame, and it felt really balanced within the multiplayer. So we're going to be moving on to Black Ops 4 here in a minute, so go ahead and enjoy the little bit of gameplay that is left here before the next gameplay, and I'll see you guys there in Black Ops 4.
Get back to boot camp.
Alright, we've made it to Black Ops 4. That means we're getting towards the end of the video, believe it or not. But in Black Ops 4, they continued the trend that Black Ops 3 started with limited time modes. So you had gun games, sticks and stones, one in the chambers, stuff like that. You know, all those party game modes where they were limited time modes inside of the game. They really condensed a lot of the game modes, so they didn't have as many game modes as Black Ops 3 did. So there's pretty much your team deathmatch, and then your hardpoint, your S&D, your standard stuff. But other than that, they didn't really have much more than the standard game modes. But the limited time modes are a little bit better in Black Ops 4, and the fact that they are actually rotated out weekly. So you can actually go back to Black Ops 4 and still play party game modes, and they just kind of rotate them out every single week. Now that's not to say that you'll be able to play it, because on PC, Black Ops 4, or at least on PC, Black Ops 4 is pretty dead. What happened was the game came out on PC, there's a lot of glitches, and it doesn't really mean much to a lot of console players or anything like that, but there was essentially memory leaks from the game, and what that did was it ended up overusing your RAM, overusing your GPU, and then you would end up having to restart your computer to refresh all that, because if you were to close the game, all of that information would still be stored in your memory, and then other games would run like crap because of it. So when the game came out, even with a super decked out computer, a lot of people were still getting dips under 60 FPS, which on PC is pretty much unplayable. So what ended up happening because of that was that a lot of people kind of turned against the game. They stopped playing it, and within like 2 weeks after its launch, it was almost impossible to find a multiplayer match on PC. Now, other than that, you know, the multiplayer itself was pretty smooth. They kind of added a lot more operator abilities to where there was always something in the field, some kind of barricade, some kind of blockade, you know. Something to really hamper the movement of the game and the way that it flowed and kind of felt. So not only did you have the specialist weapons, which were pretty much the same from Black Ops 3, they didn't really innovate that at all. They just kind of threw in a bunch more random weaponry and equipment and stuff that was just in the way constantly. And it didn't really do much to help the gameplay, and it just kind of felt lackluster. Another thing that they decided to change for some reason was they decided to make it so that way you had to heal yourself. So all the Call of Duties are known for pretty much, you know, you get shot, you sit behind cover for a minute, and then, you know, you heal up. Well, in Black Ops 4, believe it or not, you had to hit a button to pull out a syringe, which would inject yourself with the whatever healing potion, if you want to call it that, that would actually make you then start regenerating your health. So it wasn't like instant health, it was like you stab yourself, and then that starts the healing regeneration. Now they still had a pick 10 system for create a class, although they did get rid of the tokens finally that were in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3. So what that meant was as soon as you hit a level, you unlocked the weapon and you could just use it. You didn't have to worry about gaining up coins or tokens or anything like that to unlock the weapons. It was the first Black Ops that didn't require you to unlock a weapon after you leveled up, which was kind of nice, but at the same time, how the rest of the multiplayer felt and went didn't really help it kind of move on or do anything. And another issue that arose from Black Ops 4 was the fact that a lot of the maps didn't really do anything for the game. They were just kind of maps. They were just kind of there. So the way that a lot of maps work throughout pretty much every single Call of Duty is that they have the campaign, and then from the campaign they make certain levels that are based off of the campaign levels, so that way you can kind of get familiarity, and it kind of sets a mood or a scene or like some kind of feeling within the multiplayer environment. But in Black Ops 4, they were going to have a campaign, but it was canceled and scrapped so that way they can make a Battle Royale mode, which Battle Royale obviously has been a thing ever since then, but it just lacked the character and the real oomph that you would wish multiplayer experience in Call of Duty would really have. And thus, Black Ops 4, I would say, is probably my least favorite Call of Duty of all time, and I think that's really saying something when you have the likes of, Infinite Warfare right next to it. So with that said, I want to go ahead and move on to Cold War. I'm not going to go ahead and wait till you guys get to the Cold War section to talk about this. I just kind of want to go over some simple facts right now that we know 100%, and not really useful information, but that you can use. And then once it gets to the Cold War section, you can just watch that part of the video all the way through and just enjoy the new gameplay. It's a gameplay that I haven't released yet anywhere else. It's just one simple Cold War match that I had on my computer that I decided I would put into this video here today. So we know that Black Ops Cold War will have a campaign to it, and we can pretty much assume that a lot of the levels within multiplayer are going to be based off of campaign missions. Also, there are cutscenes that lead up to the beginning of the multiplayer matches. I don't know if you guys watched enough beta gameplay to understand that, but essentially on Miami, you drive up in a boat on the map that you're gonna see once I get to the gameplay, which is a desert map. You drive up on dune buggies to get into the map. Adds a little bit more character to the maps, and that's kind of good to see. We don't know exactly what modes are going to be seen, but we can assume that all of the basic game modes will be there. The only thing I hope for is that they will add the party game modes and have them there always. If they could just add another tab for party games, they already have it so that way you can select multiple game modes in Modern Warfare, so that way you can queue for all of them at once, and you can kind of create your own playlist so that way you don't have to play one specific playlist that's there, right? So if they could just do that, but then add a party mode, where you could, or just add the party modes to the core playlist so that way people could select them, and every once in a while, they get into a gun game, or they get into, a Sticks and Stones, or a One in the Chamber, or an Infected lobby, whatever it be. I really hope that they do that. The limited time modes are kind of cool, because, gets a bunch of players playing the limited time mode right then and there, but then they're gone forever. You never see them again. In Modern Warfare, one of my favorite game modes from Modern Warfare 3 was All or Nothing. They brought it in to Modern Warfare for all of a week and a half, and it's never been seen again. And I don't think we ever will see it again. It's not in private matches, you can't do that. So I don't see why they don't add a party mode, and I really, really hope that they bring that through. So a lot of the gun options from Black Ops Cold War are going to be the same as Black Ops 1. So a lot of the weapons are the same, they're just called something different. For instance, the Krig 6, I believe it was called in the beta, is pretty much the Galil. It's just the Galil. I don't know why they're not licensing the gun names anymore, but they're not. So we have a bunch of different random names for pretty much the exact same weapon, and that's kind of weird. But they're gonna have the most gun options out of any Call of Duty to date. So Modern Warfare really changed the game with how they did attachments, and they had hundreds, it felt like, of attachments. But this year, they said that there's going to be even more attachments for each and every single weapon within Black Ops Cold War, which is cool, but that means there's going to be a lot more strategy to how you can build your weapons, and there's going to be just a lot more options in general for how you may want to interact in a certain match. and thus you will build a gun around that. And lastly, just kind of want to talk about the last thing that I kind of hope happens in Black Ops Cold War, and I hope that there's more casual players. The Call of Duty community, like I said earlier, has kind of fallen into a state where everybody's really trying really hard every single match to keep their KD up and stuff like that, and it just makes it really not fun. I hope that people can, sit back, just enjoy, have fun in the game instead of trying so damn hard every single match. Like, the beta was already pretty sweaty to the point where you had to run like an SMG or you had to run a really good assault rifle with full decked out attachments. Otherwise, you really had no chance against these people. And I just hope that it's like less toxic in general. Like, I'm tired of the toxicity. I'm tired of hearing people constantly scream at each other. It's funny sometimes, but like most of the time it's just outrageous and like just stupid. Kind of pointless, there's not really much of a point to it. But yeah, so that's going to do it for me pretty much. So I hope you guys enjoy the Black Ops Cold War video here to end off the video. And I'll see you guys in Friday. Friday should be some multiplayer videos. Also, the entire campaign I'm going to be uploading Friday. I plan on releasing it in separate missions, so it'll be one by one. So if you guys want to see that too, that'll be coming out. And then also zombies content will be pumped out too. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys. So until next time, see you guys later. Photo69 is out.
Enemy spy plane inbound. Enemy attack helicopter above. Hostile artillery targeting active. Incoming artillery. Commencing surveillance. Spy plane flight time 50% on my mark. We are taking control. We are flying on field. Falling behind. Spy plane returning to base.
Enemy spy plane inbound. Hold ahead.
Spy plane available for tasking. Attack helicopter is ready to deploy.
Hostile spy plane established overhead.
This is Strela. Target's WBR. Rep and touch.
Spy plane in the turn. Spy plane mission timeline 50% expanded.
This isn't working. We're behind.
Mission timeline expired. Spy plane
We're taking control.
Napalm strike standing by.
Hostile sentry turret active. We are winning this.
Kilo lost to enemy.
Artillery targeting detected. Artillery inbound. Hostile spy plane established overhead. We have lost the lead. Multiple hostile spy planes detected. The battle is lost. Return to base.